Hello everyone, welcome back to Tier 2 Talk. Josh, I can't believe the turnaround that we've had on the episodes. We've pulled out a masterclass and two lovely more people to join us. Of course, this episode is with the TSM boys, Rejin and MoDo joining us. Guys, how you doing?
Really good. We just won a game and yeah, was a short day today.
Yeah,
Really
I
good.
feel like absolute dog. I've been sick again. I just can't get over it apparently. So sitting here with a fever and butt, but it's okay.
There we go. Josh, you said you were coming down as well with illness.
Yeah,
maybe?
honestly, I've been getting the throat spray. If we can get these guys as a sponsor, that'd be great, mate.
Yeah.
Does a trick. Does good stuff.
Wow, what a sellout, man! What a fucking sellout. Okay, we can jump straight into things, gents. Obviously, we wanted to talk a little bit about TSM. We've obviously got some ongoing events happening later on. We'll talk about the RMRs and a few tier lists for you to make and your chance to flame everyone and whatever. And then, of course, we'll have a few questions at the end to kind of wrap everything up. We can start by talking about TSM, Josh.
Yeah, I think obviously, Regin, it might be a little bit difficult for you to talk about the whole project, considering you've only been here a very short span of time. But MoDo, I kind of just want to get a brief overview of maybe what it's been since the lineup formed to where it is now, because I think a lot of people looked at the original lineup and thought, okay, it could be a long-term project, and now only a few months later, it feels like you and Valde are the last two standing.
Yeah. So Remy came to us with a vision about the lineup and the players, of course, and like since he left, it was really hard. Like I think we did really good in the beginning. Like we beat Falcons, we almost beat OG, we almost beat Big, and after he left, it was like weird because like he was the head behind of everything, and like we were staying without a coach for like 1 month or something like that. Of course, Lambi step up, but like Remy always had the voice there on the procs, on the officials. It was like really, really good to play with him. I just remember when I was like, we had 2 days break of weekend, and I just remember when he called me and he said, "I'm going to Vitality," and I was like, "Wow!" Like I'm happy for him, but sad for us.
And I think just to give everyone at home the bit more context, you obviously mentioned it with Vitality, but Remy is Extaz, who of course
Remy
was the head coach of the team. So I suppose from that point onwards, I mean, even Lambert, I mean, his role was an assistant coach, but then I guess got moved into like a main coach after that.
Yeah, he moved, so we played with him a little bit, see how it goes, and like then Valde was bringing him Rejin. So Rejin came with us, a couple of officials. He brings some anti-strat, and we liked him, and we took it.
Regin, maybe this is a chance for you to come in. Before you joined the team, did you know that Cypher was going out?
No, that was something that happens like between over Christmas, New Year's. So like it was not planned.
Okay. Ryan, I think one player that always excites us in the Tier 2 landscape is Joel. I think we've seen on previous rosters, I know you guys played Godsent the other day. I'm sure that felt great for him, putting up some monster performances. But was he a player on your radar, Regin, to give him a trial on this team? Or how did that come about?
I mean, to be fair, like I come into the roster in December, right? I have to get like to know people. Like I know the people. Like I know Jackson, Inters, Valde. I don't know MoDo. Cypher, I didn't know that much, but you know of him, right? So I need to kind of figure out like how is this team working together? Why is it working? Why is it not working, right? And that will take a time to figure out. Like, of course, I can say from outside, be like, oh, this guy is not performing or that guy's not performing, but you don't really know the root cause of that, right? So you have to kind of look into why is it's working or why is it's not working, right? And I just felt not right away, like after a few weeks, like you have your gut feeling, right? Which tend to be correct, but you also want to give the benefit of doubt, right? That the synergy was just not there. There was just something missing, and I think this turbulent start they had with Remy being there, Remy not being there, they didn't go to see each other like in real life, right? In the boot camp and stuff like that. There's a lot of chaotic things, and I think that just set them off on a bad foot, right? So when we lost Cypher, like that was I was informed on that between Christmas and New Year's that will happen. Sorry. And we were in a position where we have to find a player that could be potentially good enough, which was almost impossible because the open qualifier for the major was like 7th of January, right? So I had under a week to find a player that would be capable and stuff like that, and the only one we could come up with was basically Joel. So therefore it landed on him to get him on board. That was a bit of a detour, but that's how I talk always.
Yeah, sure. And obviously, the most recent one happened, officially a few days ago, which was benching Inters and bringing Xiphon along. I mean, even Quertz is standing in. So, what's that whole situation been like recently?
I think for my perspective with Inters is that he comes from this CIS schooling of Counter-Strike, right? And I come from a Danish way of playing, so we see things like we always end up on the same page, but we see like how to get there is differently, right? And I think that was our biggest issue, is that when we wanted him to do X, he would do it, but he would do it slightly differently, and that wouldn't be a mistake or bad or anything. It would just feel off within the team. So like he's a great player in Inters, like really awesome. It just felt off when we were doing things and the way we would like to play CS. When I say we, I mean me and Velde, right? So it just really felt off, and it hurts really like hell that we couldn't make it work. But when you also see this TSM roster has been together for half a year or something like that, right? And it didn't make it work. You have to kind of dig deep and figure out where do you want to go from this and how do you want to proceed going forward, right? I have nothing but good words to say about Inters, and I'm 100% sure when he goes to any other team, he's going to improve that team instantly. We just couldn't utilize his speciality properly, I would say, in the way we want to play CS. I think that's the right way. Maybe you can say something more here.
Yeah,
to
I
that.
want to give an example. For example, like really hard online environment, because like playing together for a long time, it's kind of hard. For example, I was in Nexus for 6 months, and we are friendly in online, but when the things like for example, I'm fighting with a teammate, then we go right away in the bootcamp. So we are friends again, and then we go back home online. We play one mount. Sometimes we are fighting, and we go back to bootcamp. Now we are friends again. So we don't have this in TSM at the beginning. So it's like really hard.
You got anything to add to this one, Ron?
No, I'm happy there.
Yeah, okay. I think the another one that a lot of people are quite interested in is obviously there's been some spotlight on TSM recently, going down to 9 employees. From our side of things, we're only in the CS. We only see what's happening on the server. So I want to ask for you, Rejin, and for MoDo, what has the support been like from the organization point of view to TSM?
I don't think MoDo has anything to do with the TSM at all, basically. Or am I wrong, MoDo? Maybe you have.
Yeah,
No, I think mostly the communication goes through me. I
Okay.
like to just let the players play, and then I will handle all the other things behind it. Of course, there will be something like if they need to send merch or something for MoDo, they will contact him, right? But other than that, it's basically just me who talks with them, and I have like all these rumors, the what happens in the past, stuff like that, is nothing that I can like. I was not there, so I don't know what happened, right? So I can only hear the rumors. So I'm not gonna sit and buy into that necessarily, because that's not the feeling that I get at all. Like I get actually like a really caring team who's there, who wants you to succeed, wants to help you, and like literally, like you have to think like they're in LA, right? So they're 9 hours ahead of me, and they're like staying up until 4 a.m. their time to speak with me in the morning or whatever it might be, right? So I mean, I have had nothing to say like bad or anything, and I cannot go into like I cannot see these things that people are talking about. But of course, I've also been here like for a few months, right? So you don't know like how it is, but in my opinion, and all I see is just good things, at least for now. So, and I hope, of course, it's gonna continue, which of course it will, right?
Yeah. Oh, that's nice and positive. The only other thing as well is maybe both of you can chip in on maybe some expectations and goals, because I think we haven't seen the team reach top 50 yet, and I think you'd probably get it as a head coach some criticism, right, of not being able to get results up on the board. Like, I know you weren't there right from the start, but with the players that have been brought forward with the experience on this roster, do you feel like you've achieved some goals as of yet, or you haven't achieved any, and that there's still more months to go until those goals are hit?
Was that directed at me or MoDo?
Oh, it could be either of you two.
Well, for me, I just came in, right?
Sure.
And we just lost Cypher. We make replacements, yada yada. Who knows if we are finished with replacements, right? Like, there's a major in a few months, like, or not even months, like even a month, right, or 1.5, right? There's gonna be the major. There's gonna be a shuffle. Like, if you can get Simple, why not get him, right? You know my point, right? Like it depends what's available and everything, right? So we have to look at that, right? So for me, like, this is a long-term project, and I don't really think you can judge the players, at least from when I was here to now, like how it has been. Or we didn't qualify for the major, which sucked, right? But it was also just like we lost Cypher a week before, right? And we had to bring in Joel and everything. So yeah, I mean, like, for me personally, it's like the goal I set is like we have to go to the Shanghai Major. Like, it's, if we don't go there, it's not, that is, we have to go there. There is no excuse. Like, it's simply a must thing we have to do. We need to put TSM on the board. We need to do better. I want to do better. Like, I'm never happy with anything but first place. Like, I don't care, like, if it was a nice run or good effort. I want to fucking win. And I like this. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I think also TSM as an org is kind of legendary in many people's head, right? And I think we need to give them justice to that name by at least qualifying for the major in Shanghai and then take it from there, right? But at the same time, it's not easy to be a TSM coming in. You see the same with Falcons. You see the same with Bleed, right? They try to buy players. No player want to go there because they don't have partner spots, etc., etc. And if players want to go there, you have to pay them a shit ton of money, right? And it's just not worth it financially, right? Then that means if you invest heavily, you need to qualify for that major. And if you don't do it, it's just, yeah, it's just the financial. You just shoot yourself in the foot, right? So I would say that I hope to also be in TSM in 2025 when the partnership fades out, and it would be potentially, quotation mark, potentially, easier to get players that you really, really want, right? With that being said, like with the players we have right now, I am quite confident we're gonna do pretty well. And it's about to see how the synergy is gonna start come together and everything. Like, there might be a roster change, maybe not. Maybe we keep Quirts. For now, at least, we're gonna give Simon is Quirts the chance to prove himself for us. So.
Okay. And MoDo, you can carry that on as well with some of the goals if you've got any at all for this year.
For sure, like play. We need many officials, and Shanghai is like the goal, for sure. But we need to have a good Valve ranking to be there. Maybe we can get it to top 30 just playing online and the tournaments, winning some tournaments, and that's it.
All right. Well, do you want to move on to some of the events that we've got ongoing, Ryan?
Yeah, can do. There's a fair bit to talk about. Well, I guess not a lot of events, but I think a few results and matchups and things that we can talk about. Obviously, we've got Kato coming on. Being played right now. We'll discuss that at the end.
As we speak.
Yeah, exactly. And we've got a few other smaller events, I guess, on the scale, but still pretty important ones. Do you want to start with European Pro League, Josh?
Yeah, we can. So this is obviously an event that you guys are playing in. I wanted to sort of touch on some of the thoughts of maybe your group stage matches and then moving into the playoffs, because you played Godsent twice in groups. You played the Mal's NXT side, and then Alternate Attacks and Metasport in the playoffs. So we can maybe take it game by game when Ryan gets them up on stream. But just wanted to get some overall thoughts on the tournament run so far, and obviously the game against Ecstatic is your next one.
Yeah, I mean, like, if you want my honest opinion, we should have not lost a single game so far. Like, we have been playing really good. And honestly, the ones we played have not been playing really good. Like they've been playing really bad. CS, sorry to say for them. You want some banter? There you get it. We lost to Godsend in a match we should never ever have lost. Like we demolished them on Inferno, as far as I remember. And then Ancient, we pissed it away. And I can tell you, TSM did not have a happy coach that day because we lost 5-2, 5-3 multiple times on Ancient. We should have closed it there. But yeah, I would say that I think we have been playing extremely well, and yeah. I don't know if you agree, Moro.
Yeah, I agree. I just put I posted on Twitter. We are playing lately solid CS.
Okay. What do you think about this new Mouse NXT roster? Because I think they've got a couple of new youngsters involved in the mix. Obviously, you
They
beat
got
them.
the PR guy, right?
Yeah, they got the Czech and this new Ukrainian guy who we were talking about in the last episode, weren't we,
Yeah,
Ryan?
Barmalov.
Yeah. And the new French player as well. I think he played with Shocks for a little bit on that little project that he had. But this is a really new looking Mouse NXT roster than kind of what the one was previously.
Yeah, looks interesting. Like the Barmilov guy, I know him from like 2 or 3 years ago. We were playing some Faceit League together. He was like really young. And like Mouse NXT has really good system. Like they're bringing every time good players and they're raising them. I think looks good in my opinion, and then just need to play together. And yeah, that's it.
Yeah, certainly a young team. I mean, even Nexius, I think he was a class entry fragger for them, so good chance for him to go up to OG and play at that next level. Obviously, you had the rematch against Godsend, and I think that was the one where Joel just went absolutely nuclear. I was having a look at his stats earlier. Seems like he's just farming every single official under the belt right now. Is that probably the main reason why you feel like you're playing so well, Rejin, as a team, or is it more so that the team as a whole is playing really well?
I mean, let me put it like this. I've never... that's not true. In Mouse we had... But it's really rare you have this player who can just go nuclear like that, right? In Mouse we had like Robs and Voxic who could both go like full-on nuclear, right? So it was easy to play CS suddenly. Because you have this guy who continually take down 2 or 3 people, right? Then it's fairly easy to play CS, right? And that's also why it probably looks like the other teams are playing bad, right? So yes, it makes a massive difference. You have this guy who can just shut people down and win rounds we should probably not win, right? So yeah.
Okay, and then
I have
moving
no
on...
idea if I answered your question.
Yeah,
I lost my train of thought completely.
Yeah, that does it all right. I want to ask about the playoffs now, because I think Alternate Attacks were a team last year where they were really consistent, with Spiddy and Slacks were obviously both still there. But it's felt like they've had some struggles maybe coming closer towards that Christmas break to fill the shoes of the 2 players going out.
Yeah, I mean, like they pick Overpass, we win 12-0 on City side, right? It's just gonna, like, it's always a hard matchup for them, right? And then again, you see on your screen like Joel's stats again, like it's, you know, like it's easy to play CS suddenly, right? Like when you have a guy like that, and then you have, if you have 1 more guy, 2 more guys, like here we have Velde and Siphon also on the scoreboard. You see here, like they also step up, right? Then it's really easy to play CS, right? You don't need to have the biggest strat book and everything, right? You just need good synergy, good firepower, and it's fairly easy to win against these teams, right? No, and it's not to take it away from the teams. They're playing proper CS, right? It's just hard to do anything about, right? Like what are you gonna do when Saibu has a great game or a simpler whatever, right? Or Dunk, right? You can't do anything, right? It's just, you can play the odds the best you can and hopefully you win, right? But if he just decides to take over the game, you're just fucked, right? So
yeah. MoDo, obviously really fresh in your head, the official that you played today. Do you want to give everyone at home some thoughts about that one and going up against the Swedes?
I just remember Joel like killing everybody. I was just aiming with the AVP, starting aiming at the position. I just see on the scoreboard, like on the top of it, like Joel triple kill, double kill, something like that. Just I was just laying in the chair this game, to be honest.
Yeah.
It was good from us. Like the communication is there. Like we're becoming more proactive mid round. I feel like, and just feels really nice to play.
Mm.
Even on pracs, like we are winning most of them, and like I'm like writing to Rejin, bro, this TSM looks sick.
And then I don't know if you can get it up, Ryan, but their next game against Ecstatic, I feel like these are the kind of guys. I mean, they qualified to the RMR. Salazar obviously had that little stint out there on Heroic. They seem really consistent right now and like constantly making playoff runs, constantly going fairly deep. Can you give me some thoughts maybe on this matchup? Would you consider yourselves favorites or are they favorites to you?
To be honest, I think we are favorites. Like the way we are playing lately.
Yeah, I would probably go the other way and say they're favorites. I mean, they've been playing together for a really, really long time, right? You can see, like, I think 3 of the players, or even 4, maybe they've been playing together for more than a year, if I'm not mistaken. I didn't
Yeah,
check up on it,
probably
so
sounds
maybe you
about
can
right.
correct me, right? But when you have this core for that long, and I think it's only Patty who came in lately, no?
Yes.
As far as I
they're
remember.
there for a long time.
And the rest have been playing like for more than a year almost, right? Like it's
Well,
hard to manage. Like they are
Yeah.
always gonna have an advantage, and I think this is what you see on this team compared to almost any other tier 2 team. Like they've been playing together for so long. Like there's not many teams like this who has been playing together for that long. So I would say like, and it looks like they're really enjoying to play together. The way they play CS, right? They play really dynamically. They play. They don't play this ABC CS necessarily, but at the same time they are, right? So they have this depth in their playbook, right, where they can switch things up, and that is what makes it hard to play against them, right? So I would say like on paper they should be the favorites, but right now in the form I think we are the favorites coming into it.
Yeah, I think, if I'm not mistaken, Ryan, like Kragen and QnA were teammates for like years because they were on the Masonic roster for a long time before move over here. And then Patty, I mean, he was IGLing Astralis Talent.
Wasn't Salazar there also?
No, I think Salazar was on. I don't think he was on Masonic, was he?
I don't think so.
No, I thought he was on that like Atlantic, something like
Yes,
that.
something.
Yeah, so they've gone for a lot of players recently, but
Yeah, but in any ways they've been playing together for a long time, right? And I would say also this, right? They actually come from the same place. Like they've been playing with. You mentioned Masonic before with the old guy Black.
Yeah, of course,
like
coach. Yeah.
And like he used to be a player, so he played with many of these people. Right now, he coached a lot of people, right? So it's all like everyone knows like what they kind of go into. They play by the same system. They know each other, and I think they just have something really good going for them. And I'm happy to see them doing well.
Who else is still alive in the bracket, Ryan? In the lower?
So we have Metasport ITB happening tomorrow morning, and then Preezy Sang happening after.
Yeah.
See, that's quite surprising even to see Preezy. I mean, it's a Danish derby, so I suppose games like that could be 50-50 go either way. But being down in the lower bracket this early on, because they've obviously been doing quite well over the last few months.
I would say I think Preezy lost Nikodos, and I think they lost a lot there.
Yeah.
To be honest. Nothing to take away from them because they did well, right? And they also qualified for the RMRs, I remember.
Yeah,
right?
they're there, yeah.
So I mean, they have been doing extremely well, but I do believe that they took a hit when they lost Nikodos, because right now I think TNB is opening, right?
Yeah, I actually haven't casted them since.
I think everybody's opening. I saw everybody. I saw Refresh, TNB, Dupri sometimes.
Well, I do believe that TNB is like the main operator right now, without being 100% sure. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe it just works out and it's really good there. So, and I'm just talking shit, so we never know.
All right. Well, I don't really have much more to add. Should we get on to the next event, Ryan?
Yes, can do. Real quick, just so I'm not pulling pages up. We want to talk about A1.
Yeah, that's only just started. Yeah, I know their last season was quite big, and I actually had some well-established teams get invited into the playoffs last time around. So I think they've only just started. They're only in their first round of main Swiss. They don't have a contender stage, just main Swiss into playoffs with 4 invited teams. But there's a decent mixture of teams. I'm looking at this secret roster. I mean, that's a fairly new roster that's kind of been formed over the Christmas break. You've got like even the new young ninjas. I haven't actually casted any of those games since they've brought in couple of new players. But yeah, we'll be keeping an eye on this, especially when the Swiss stages move over. How do you guys find the Swiss stages and these online cups? Are they good to only play like 1 game a week rather than maybe playing the GSL and 3 games in the space of a few days?
I mean, personally, I love Switch Stage.
Yeah, same
I'm
for
a
me.
big fan.
Big fan of CCTs last year. Playing like every day. Like we had a lot of games, 2 or 3 games per day. It was insane.
Yeah, getting those reps in. I mean, even 500, Ryan. I don't know what's going on over there at the moment. Like, I know Rainwaker's back, but in theory, that team on paper is probably the best looking 500 team that they've fielded in quite some time, with Ships, Denny, Red Star, and Rainwaker, and yet the results just aren't coming. Like, they're losing to some pretty poor teams right now. So I don't know if it's just that, I would say, embedding period, but like Rainwaker didn't even leave for that long. He's still come back to the same core. So I don't know.
I think they have like a leadership issue there, honestly, without knowing it too much. But I would say so because as far as I know, Ships went into in-game lead, correct?
He is now, because obviously Nikki... So Ships was in-game leading, and then Nikki joined, and then Nikki was in-game leading, and now Nikki's gone, and Ships is in-game leading. Yeah. So...
And I think that's... Like, when you have a player like Ships, like, in my opinion, like, he should never in-game lead. But of course, again, I don't know him personally, so maybe he's a great leader, right? Now, he doesn't strike me as a great leader. Personality-wise, stuff like that, right? You tend to see the traits in people, like when they are doing I remember we were building a roster for Mad Lions back in 2020, I think it was, and I was in interviewing him, and I remember that, and he didn't strike me as a leader at all. He struck me as a guy who just needs to go out and fuck people up, which he was good at, right? So for me, it looks like an issue with the leading style and how you play it. But again, like this is also 4 years ago, right? And this is based on my assumption, so I might be talking on my ass here, right? But this is just a feeling that I have. It looks weird, like, because when you see the names, it looks really strong on paper, right?
Yeah.
I think they were solid in CS:GO. They had really good results, but since CS2 came, I don't think they step up.
Yeah. Haven't won a lot in a little while. I mean, I wonder, Ryan, does Bubble get the call back? Like, I know he was playing with these guys before. I mean, he's been retired for a little while. I mean, even Grasshog, who was like the coach and used to play in the Polish scene, he was even playing for a little bit just before they brought Rainwaker back. So, I don't know. I'll be keen to keep an eye on them for the next few months, because I feel like they are one of those deaf teams in Tier 2, where if they find their rhythm and they start clicking, but they're like beating Tier 1 teams every week. They're like winning events. They're going on to constant grand finals. But when it doesn't click, it just feels like they just lose to just anyone, just lose to just randoms. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe we'll keep an eye on them this year.
Yeah, I can hope good things out of them, because as you said, like, I think back, if we have a look at their results, like, you think of the events and the opportunities that they were getting, right? They obviously had this, I remember EDC Season 7, where they played against Voivoda and won. Obviously, they played in the Paris Major Deciders, so they've had, like, deep runs in fairly decent events. You can see, again, like, they played in RMR A B, came short of the mark there. But it's like they were pushing some very decent names, and it feels like a lot in the open qualies and stuff that we saw. These guys were going toe-to-toe. It was like the Auroras and your Entropics and things like that of the time that they were able to actually do God's work and make a dent. But you are right, since the identity crisis, I guess, that they've had, things have fallen off a little bit.
If it's me who was in 500, I would add Bubble right away, even though he retired.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the only caveat there is he's been there before, and he also found his way out the door, right? But I mean,
he didn't play in 500, did he?
He played on Skade, which was like Skade 2 500.
Oh yeah, that's true. Okay,
yeah. He brought Dreamer over, and it didn't quite work. When they were doing quite good stuff on Fiend, but I think when they brought the two of them over to Skate, it didn't work. One thing I do want to ask you two guys, actually, because I feel like Entropic is maybe a similar team to you, where it's a new international project. You got some experienced guys, you got some Tier 1 talents, especially Tizian. They look dreadful to me. They look really poor and out of identity, and it makes me wonder for Tizian, like, is he ready to go from big to an international team to IGLing? Like, I don't know. I just look at this team. Collins was really good on, 4 Glory and Partisan. Marex was fairly decent on Sprout and OG Academy. Oxygen, we know what he was like on Skade. Like they've got some good players, but mate, I don't know. They look lost sometimes when I watch them.
It looks weird for me, like when you see the players. Like it's like Oxygen, Collins, Milky, like they're all three players that I've been having my eyesight for a long time. Like we had Milky testing out. I think it was in. Is it an endpoint? I think it was. We tried him out a few times.
Yeah, I remember he played a few HLTV games with you guys.
Such a super professional guy, and he has I think he has a bright future in front of him. And then Collins as well. I also talk with, like they just look insanely good. So I don't know if it's something to like. I don't know how TCM want to play CS, but let's say he want to play CS like they're doing big. That is not gonna work on international roster. That's all I can say, because they play way too structured and it's way too like ABC CS where everyone knows what's happening, right? Like so by playing, like if you want to play, but it depends on the system, I would say. Like it looks for me that you don't utilize your players properly.
Yeah, I don't know what to think. I don't know if you've casted much of them, Ryan, but obviously I casted them today, and man, they just look rough. Just look really rough.
Yeah, I've had, I think, one, maybe two officials that I've casted of them, and I think it's like the same thing everyone's saying, is that like you've got the names, but it's just not the results that you expect, right?
Yeah.
Like, realistically, you look at this Entropic team, and the teams that they're playing against here, like they should be blitzing this Swiss system.
Yeah,
They should be, you know, if it's a tough matchup, you know, against like an on-form 500, or you know, like it's a tough game against another team, like maybe 3-1, but even then you can't argue the fact that these guys aren't, at least for namesake, like one of the favourites to go on and do well in this tournament. And yeah, it's a shame to see these guys where they are, because I think, as you said, like we've got a really good bleed of experience and talent and potential, and it feels like it's all being a little bit misplaced right now. And you know, maybe it comes from a calling issue, maybe it comes from a gelling issue, because as far as I know, maybe they have, but at least from when I've been looking at social media and stuff, I don't know if these guys have been on boot camp at all, and I don't know how long they've been together now. I mean, what, like
6 months?
Yeah, they've
one
been
player change.
28th
Yeah.
to the 7th, 2023. Recent change, obviously, during Christmas time. But if that's the case as well, then you know, maybe that's something else that can be looked at. But yeah, it is a bit of a shame.
I mean, I think it's always funny, like you see like players talking about building an international team, like they just think like you take, oh, this is a good player, this is a good player, this is a good player, right? And it looks good on paper, but it's not gonna work. And oftentimes you don't realize why it's not working. And it's oftentimes, in my experience at least, because you try to push something that doesn't work for two players, for example. Like it can be a system, it can be a play style, it can be what you want them to do, etc. Right? You need to make sure that your players are comfortable by playing the way they're playing, and not just be players who's like, yeah, I'm okay with that, and then deep down they rather want to play connector or whatever it might be, right? And I think like when you're building a roster like that, you have to be freaking sure that the players are okay with XYZ, like how you want to play the system, the calling, everything, right? So yeah, I don't know, of course, like it's guessing, but yeah, I don't know if you know them better, MoDo.
Like they are looking good on paper, but I don't know what is happening. I know them, but like most recent game I saw, it was against Bleed. They won. That's all.
Yeah. I don't know. One thing I did find actually only the other week, Ryan, is that Susp and Adam B are actually twin brothers on Metasport. They're playing together for the very first time. I did not know that until literally last week. Yeah, I did not know. I mean, they look fairly similar,
okay. Now I
obviously.
see it. Yeah, now I do see it, actually. Now that you say
Yeah,
that.
they're twins, right?
Yeah, I didn't know. Yeah. And for whatever reason, they've just always been on separate teams. Normally, you get the brothers always playing together, but
like Lucas and Hen, you know.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, we'll keep an eye on this. I mean, again, only first round of Swiss is come through, so maybe.
Is it best of 1 or best of 3?
I think BO3 is the whole way, right?
Yes.
Okay, then it's actually bad that if you don't. I don't know who they played, of course. I can't remember.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, this was another tournament, the Compass event that they're 0-2 in contender stage, which is like even slightly worse teams, I would say, than.
What about that Alliance team?
That's the Boda Master one, right?
Yes,
With
correct.
Twist.
Swedish,
Are they there? Yeah, they are there. Because they were like I don't know if they were a mix or what, but they were like the unorg team that did quite well in a couple of qualifiers
Yeah.
and then got picked up by Alliance.
I think I remember this story of them. So if I'm not mistaken, that one of their first events under Alliance was the Blast Showdown.
Oh, so could have got picked up
and
for that maybe.
I think they qualified. If I have a look here, the Nordic Masters. I remember there being some like here. So
Victory Zigzag.
yes,
Yeah.
yes. So
Yeah.
this whole like predicament of like Victory Zigzag. Yes, they were 4160 ISK at the time. And they were like calling these guys out for I think it was either like cheating or fixing, or I don't remember the exact story. Anyway, they call them out. They're like, no, they're cheating. They're doing this, whatever. And then obviously Victory Zigzag get the invite to the Blastfall Showdown. They lose their opportunity to play for the org because of it. It then gets reversed. They get picked up by Alliance, and then they play the Showdown as one of the first events under their name. I remember.
Yeah, on paper, like I think it's a fairly scary roster because you like even Pleasant, I think he's always been fairly underrated in the tier 2 scene for the last couple of years, always been fairly consistent, always puts in good performances. You've got some experienced guys like Robin, who was obviously on Endpoint, and then Twist, who's played at the tier 1 level. Bodemaster made the journey from Little Mix over to North America, and then I think Avid is like the only young, fairly unknown player on this entire roster. And I don't think they've made a single like roster change since then. It's the exact same five. So they've definitely tried to push the 5-man lineup for as long as possible.
Yeah, they've been doing alright actually. I've got to give it to them. I was impressed watching them play some CS.
Have you guys played them at all?
Not really.
Don't think so.
We did
not even practice, I think.
Yeah, not even practice. The one practice we had against them.
What are they on HLTV, Ryan? They got to be like top 60-ish.
84.
84?
They are 84. There you go.
Yeah, okay, a bit lower than I thought. Yeah.
I mean, they lost the secret also. So I mean, their results does not look that good.
Right.
I mean, no offense, but like they use 0-2 to Passion.
You casted that. I casted this game. Passion were fucking unbelievable, by the way. Like, I've not heard. Like, I remember looking at my notes, like writing them down, and I'm like tracking back the history of like some of these players, and you look at like you go to like their previous teams, and it's like Zen. Obviously Jambo played for the Witchers way back when, and it's like I've like never heard of these names before. They come in, they actually play some decent CS, like the Anubis game. They come back into, I think they were like 10-6 down, win the game 16-13 in OT. Like Alliance obviously don't mind playing Ancient, and then you look at this, we're like 8-0 up, 10-2 at the half, and close. They're not a bad team, to be fair.
They're so young also. They're like under 20, everybody.
Yeah, they have two from two 16.
18.4 average player age, yeah.
And the two of them are 16 years old, I think.
Yeah.
Young team.
And then Kane at the coach as well.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Oh yeah.
There you go.
Even older than me, Kane. What the fuck?
We can have a little bit of a chat about Kato as well, because I mean I think the tier 2 teams have done quite a lot of surprises. Eternal Fire, mate. Like they've come out of the Christmas break, maybe even just before the Christmas break, and they have seriously been playing well. Like bringing Wicadia into that team was probably the best decision they could have ever made, and not recycled a Paz or an Engine or just someone else to go in again. Like I'm glad they actually went for some younger talent. I just feel a little bit for Xflound because I think he was on that team like 3 times, wasn't he? Just constantly getting benched. But I don't know. Eternal Fire looking in really good touch. Have you guys pracked them at all?
Not really, but I want to say it's just insane how much Wicadia plays. Like he has pracs, he has official, and he has like 150 games every time on Faceit FPL, winning every time.
Just grinding it.
Like just grinding, yeah.
I think that's also like why Eternal Fire are doing really well. Like now they have 3 heavy hitters, like in Voxix and Terrace and now Vicadia, right?
Yeah.
And I think that just makes it so much easier. Like if you look at any tier 1 team, right, they have these 3 hard hitters. like any team basically, right? You can say, okay, he has this guy, right, who's like a really heavy hitter, and it's just easier to win games again. Like if you have people just popping off, right? You don't need to grind out the long game stuff because Vox just did a 3 kill, right? No, easy, round over, right? You don't even have to think about it, right? Like we had a fun practice the other day. I'm not gonna tell the opponent, but basically it was like this, like people just running up one day A, one day B, one day A, one day B. It's like Valde didn't even call anything. Like it's just like when that happens, it's like, yeah, it feels good, but what are we actually learning from it? You know what I mean? Like it's just because you're so good individually, right? And this was not a bad team we played against either. Like we just absolutely fucked them, right? And when that happens, you get into that. It's just that's nice to play CS, right? And this is the same with Spirit, right? You have Donk, Zero, like that combo is insane. Suntix was also there, right? But it's crazy to have that kind of performance from players, right?
Yeah, I think the biggest surprise in all the Cato for me was fucking Rebels. Mate, they were losing to absolute everyone online. I don't know what was going on, but they just seemed to be in such a tough position online. I mean, even I don't know if it was an RMR or some open qual, right? But they got pumped by Viperio. I don't know if you could bring that one up. And it's like just before this is Rebels. The SNX.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Hold on. Let me have a quick look. Where
I think they're in the play-ins.
Yeah.
I think we also beat them on ECA playoff, and we got to challenger by beating them.
Yeah. That was it. Yeah.
Like what is that?
Qualies.
Just getting absolutely destroyed by just fairly shit teams.
Yeah, well, no flame to Viperio, but these guys have been. They made 2 changes, right, of Mango and Pandito.
Yeah.
Like weeks before they had to play in this event, and yeah, as you say, like going from losing 13-4 to then like going through the play-ins, beating.
But I would say also this is MR12 for you, right? It's a best of 1 MR12. Anything can happen. Right, like that is how it is, because you lose both pistols, and then you're basically behind like 4 to 6-0 depending on how your economy is, right? And then if you just made one mistake that cost you also 2 or 3 rounds, right? You're behind 10-0 suddenly. Like it goes so fast, and it's a best of 1, right? So you don't really have time to go into fuck that map. We just played poorly. We didn't win a key round, stuff like that, yada yada. Yeah, I think like it can happen to anyone, right? Like that you lose a best of 1 to some team you probably shouldn't lose to. That can happen. I mean, I beat fucking G2 on LAN with a stand-in with mouse sports, right? I mean, that should never happen, but it did happen, right? I mean, it's just how it goes. It's CS for you sometimes, right?
I want to ask though, do you think that that's an excuse for tier 1 squads? Like, do you think they're getting to a point now where they're like, it's MR12 and not the fact that the tier 1 versus tier 2 is closing? Like, I think when
I definitely think that it's closing in. Don't get me wrong. But I do think like the gap between tier 1 and 2 is almost non-existent. Like there's almost no gap there anymore. And when you go from two to 3 or whatever, how you want to classify these tiers, right? Like it just gets narrower and narrower, right? Like because everyone gets better. There's all these tools you can get left, right, and center, right? Like let's say you come as an underdog team, right? Called Clan Dweg, right? And you wanna.
They will be shit. Yeah.
Yeah, probably. And then you have all these tools available. Like you can go anti-strat people. You can go look at everything, right? And there is these things like in tier 2 CS. A lot of the teams, they're doing the same things over and over and over again. It's so fucking easy to go anti-strat. It takes me 2 minutes, and I can tell you how we're gonna win 5 out of 6 pitch rounds, right? Like it's so easy to say, right?
Good example here. Sorry, Alan.
It's fine.
You can continue.
No, go. Now you already interrupted me. You cannot just stop me again.
A good example is G2 playing CCT. Like they're struggling against Slime, Slime, against Sprout, almost losing against Aurora. They lost 2-0, and Guild Esports, I think is a really good example. So, in my opinion, if many teams would play like in tier 1 teams, I mean, playing in tier 2 events, there will be a lot of upsets.
Yeah, we know that, don't we, Ryan? We see that fucking every single time. Literally every time.
But I also think like the MR12 did help tier 2 a lot, because it is easier to upset when you lead less rounds. That's just how it is, right? And if you win all the correct key rounds, it's gonna be easy, right? So I would say like what I'm probably most impressed like is my good Polish friends here, Kuben and Ens, right? What they have been doing is insane, because I didn't feel like they just got a good start. They have been grinding out the matches and winning the matches, right? where I don't get the same feeling from when I saw Rebels, for example. And that's nothing to take anything away from Rebels, right? I think they played good CS. But yeah, for me, it's definitely Ensign Kato so far who's been the one to watch for sure.
Yeah, I mean, even M80, we saw Def having to step in. I mean, Manx stepped down for some personal issues. I'm sure he'll be back, I think, after the RMR circuit. And for someone that hasn't played an official on HLTV in, what, 4-5 years to say, yep, we're going straight to Kato, I'm playing with you. Like, that's insane that he's even able to kind of hang with these guys. Obviously, an ex-pro used to play on Complexity, but they unfortunately got knocked out by the Rebels side. And then who else?
Yeah,
I mean,
I think also that is why the Rebels came so far that they did, right?
Yeah,
like,
it depends on who you face.
Yeah, I mean, like it's a lot of that, right? Because like you can see Apex and Big, right? They faced, I think that was Big, right? They faced.
Yes,
They won
Apex
like
big.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, like if you take that, yeah, I can even see now like the Fury and Apex also, right? You see like the kind of if you look at this, right, and how if you want to seed it, like how would you seed it, right? You would probably seed Fury and Apex in different brackets, right? You have Instant Astralis also, right? So you go into this a bit where one is just drawing the lucky straw, right? In my opinion, at least. And again, nothing. You can only beat the one who's in front of you, but it's how it goes, right?
Yeah.
Fair enough.
So we'll see how Eternal Fire kick on. I mean, obviously they're playing Na'Vi. That would be quite a good victory if they're able to.
They're playing now, no?
Yeah,
Yeah, they're
11-1
playing
last
right
map.
now. Yeah.
7-9.
No. Yeah, we'll keep an eye on how that goes. Obviously, don't want to dive too much into the tier 1 teams. I actually want to ask you two guys, out of the teams that are at Kato, who in, I suppose, the tier 1 name would you consider to not be a tier 1 team right now? Like, big? I mean, looking at
That's
their
a funny
failures,
question.
I mean, they didn't even qualify to the RMR. They didn't qualify, I think, to the next Blast groups. They've struggled here in Kato. Do you look at any of the tier 1 names and say they're not tier 1 competition right now?
But didn't Big, they went to the RMR, no?
I didn't think they
No,
made
they
the
lost
RMR.
against they lost against my friends.
Yeah, they
Nexus.
lost to Nexus.
Yeah.
Nexus, yeah, that's right. Okay.
Like, to not even
Yeah.
make it to the RMR is like, what's happening there?
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't know. Like, okay, so the question you're asking, like, who is tier 1? Or
That
who is
isn't
being
tier
looked
1.
as tier 1, but
Yeah.
it should probably not be tier 1. Yeah, no, I think it's a hard question, right? Because, like, right now the gap is so small. Like, anyone can beat anyone. I think the only team who has been consistent is, like, Vitality and FaZe, right? And now you see Vitality also bombing out, right? 2 events in a row, basically,
Yeah.
right? So is it only FaZe left? I don't know. They also been not playing always well, right? So like I think the when you see tier 1 and the thing is, like, we go back in history and watch, right? We always have these teams dominating. NIP, Fnatic, Astralis, etc., right? And even before 1.6 stuff, it's the same idea, right? But it's just so different timeline to go into now, right? Like the economy is different, the rounds are shorter, there is less rounds, like everyone has just gotten better, right? And I think it's a bit unfair at the same time as fair, like to say someone is not tier 1 when they probably are, you know what I mean? But yeah, I don't know. I think it's a hard question. Like Big, I think I don't think they're a tier 1 team. If you're saying tier 1, for me it's like a team who should go and win trophies. Do we agree on that?
Yeah, I agree.
Then
Yeah.
I don't think Big is a tier 1 team. But then there's again a lot of teams that's not tier 1 team.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think it'd be really interesting, like this, to have this conversation, as you were saying, Rejin, like in like a year and a half from now, when there's no, there's no Blast agreement, there's no ESL agreements, like you don't get a nice easy path into these big events.
Yeah. Here comes X Thunderflash. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's like if the gap is that small, which I do agree with, I genuinely do think, like the recent pickups in teams and things like that are proving the point that tier 2 is actually very close to tier 1. It'll be really interesting when, like, these RMRs are open circuit and teams aren't getting these Valve points because they've got these agreements, and like we're seeing all of these teams that you know, you would the name at least you would associate with tier 1, but the teams themselves maybe not, and they all have to like battle it out in the open quals. That's going to be a really fun part of the calendar in Counter-Strike, I feel like, because I think that argument is where we're going to be able to make our point the most.
Well, maybe
But
this
I
is...
still
go on,
do
Rejin.
think, like, if to add one thing there, I do think right now CS is not in a good state looking from a competitive aspect, because it is random. It is way more random than it used to be. I think Snappy, he said it the best interview, like, before you could be down like 9-3 and then kind of figure out the solution, build upon, okay, this is what we need to do, and then you can kind of go into that and then come back 9-6, right? To end a half 9-3 compared to 9-6 is a way bigger difference, right? And I think that thing is just it makes it really, really random, right? Like you kind of have to force second round if you want to win the game, and that also is kind of weird because you fucks your economy if you don't do it. But if you don't do it, you're in the same situation because the T's are running off with the economy, and you're gonna be like, yeah. And then you lose like the third round, then you're behind 5-0, right? And then it's kind of the same. So I think right now we're in a situation where I like the idea with MI12 that you shorten the rounds, but the economy is flawed when it comes to that. So there needs to be changed something there, in my opinion, because it's really random. And that's also why you see these upsets when Rebels are beating someone or whatever is happening, right?
Okay. Well, this could be a good chance now, Ryan, to move into the RMR conversation. Before we get into the tier list, actually, we can bring it up on screen. Want to talk about your RMR Open Qualifier campaign, because I don't think those Open Qualies are easy for any team, especially a team that's recently made changes or a team that's kind of going in with not even knowing what the lineup's going to be, like ITB, where you had players standing in with their Open Qualifier run last time around. So... Can we go qualifier by qualifier for TSM and go through each one?
Yes, sorry, I'm just getting
I mean,
out
if I
the
can
thing.
remember that, I'm not sure I can.
Yeah,
You
we
or
might
no?
have to jog the memory.
I mean, I probably happily forgot about those.
Yes, so there's our first open quali. As far as I can see, not on Liquipedia.
I think like the first one we lost pretty early, no more.
Yeah, we lost pretty early. I don't remember against what.
Yeah,
Fair
before the round of 64.
I think we lost on a Mirage against some Russians.
Oh yeah.
Oh
yeah,
yeah, that's
I remember.
right.
Yeah,
No, it
yeah.
was not Russians, it was Estonians we lost to.
Some Estonians, yeah.
Is it the
Think boys?
Sync Boys? Yeah. It will be
no, I don't
JO
think.
and that.
No, it's not them. Yeah, was it them? Yeah, it was them. It was them.
No, it
Yeah.
was against some Lithuanians,
no,
I think.
it was
Or
them.
yeah.
100%, because I played with Echo with Robs. 100%.
Okay.
Yeah, they got really close to qualifying to the
Yeah.
RMR. We were talking about
Oh
that.
yeah,
on
they
the...
lost 3 best of 3s. Must be.
Yeah, they needed to win one and they
painful.
lost all 3.
I mean, that one, like in the first qualifier, I think we played poorly CS, to be honest. And we just got Joel in, and we didn't have time to practice, of course, because like that was a Christmas break. So we had like 3 days of intense practice. And we started out by putting Joel in just all of Cypher's roles, as I remember correctly. MoDo,
Yeah.
And I quickly said to Valdi, like, we should put Joel in all the star roles, like all the roles he wants to play. And that's one thing said, but another thing done is harder. And we changed that. I think already the second qualifier we changed it. That we put Joel in these more star positions, and that's the one where we got the furthest, I believe, where we lost to Harvo and Vertigo, which was we took a gamble on the veto. So I mean, like that was on me 100%. I can't remember the maps that was left, but I think it was some. Oh, you can see it there actually. Yeah, so it was either Nuke or Vertigo, because we removed Ancient from them, which was their best map. So we thought that we would actually get Overpass, Mirage, or something like that. But then they just banned the 3 maps we didn't want to ban. So we kind of got a little fucked there. So I'm gonna take that on my shoulders for the boys, so not feel too bad. So we took a game with the veto, and we should not have done that in that case. But fuck it, we all agreed on it before, and it was fine.
Yeah, I think even for Harvu, like they obviously had a really good run. Alyssa Masters just before the end of the year, but I think Slowy's just been benched out of that team, so I suppose they'll probably dip back down to the odd 100th odd rating. I don't think you were on Liquipedia again until the 4th qual, Ryan. I think the 3rd one, if you did play in it, were eliminated quite early on again.
We lost against Seklot.
Yeah, that's
on
right. On
Overpass.
Overpass. Pooh,
Yeah,
that was
yeah.
bad.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
what Kriaz's new team,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
I was angry though.
Yeah.
You're not happy. We pissed that away completely, as far as I remember.
Yeah, it was 12-8 or something like that.
Yeah,
and-
we were up 12-8, right?
Yeah, 12-8.
And then
we
they
lost in
did.
overtime.
Yeah, and that was bad.
And this probably doesn't get any better either. Round of 64, eliminated by players I never even heard of.
Yeah, same for me. I mean, that was.
Yeah.
I mean, that game was horrible individually from people. Like we just got out aimed completely. Like they didn't even like. Heads up to them. They just played with the balls in their hand and just came running at you, and we just lost every single duel.
Just remember they were rushing A, rushing mid, rushing B, and they just got the kills.
They
and
just got into it every time without any trades. So
it was hard. Save every round, then
yeah,
hit another
I mean,
side,
no excuse,
rush.
of course.
Yeah, of course. Painful.
Yeah, tough open qualifier run then. Only getting to the HLTV stage once out of all 4 qualies. So maybe to lighten the mood a little bit, Ryan, we can go and talk some shit on the other teams.
Yes. your chance to blast a few of these teams. So
yeah, we want many teams in the no chance category. To be fair, there isn't actually as many this time around as there was last time. There wasn't no Viperos and ITBs.
Yeah, there's a lot harder than last time, I think.
Isn't there like I think there's a lot of spots up for grabs, no?
I think it's like top 8 for both, and then the 9th to 11th goes into a separate bracket.
So it's actually
Yeah.
fairly easy to make it.
It is like close qual. Same.
I think the decided bracket's a little bit more tough. I think it's only 1 spot for the 6 teams this time.
Oh, okay.
But it's still 6 teams into 1, and then obviously top 8, so just getting 3 wins in the Swiss.
So for those at home that maybe didn't see last episode and don't know what we're on about, this is going to be the opportunity for our lovely guests to, maybe not just talk some shit, but it'll be, it'll be a fun one. We're getting rid of the dark horse. I forgot to do that. You don't get the option for the dark horse. Everyone at home that wants to have a go, I'll link these in the chat, and you can have a go and tag us what you think, or anyone at home, tweet us at Tier 2 Talk what you think the RMR standings are going to look like. We're going to start with A, and then we've got B there as well. Your job basically, categorize the teams, come to an agreement between you both on how you think these guys are going to do in the RMRs, if they should qualify through the RMRs to the major, if they could qualify, unlikely that they qualify, and well, if there's a team that you have a vendetta against, or maybe you actually do believe there is no chance, then you can put them in the no chance category. We'll start, if you want, we'll just start by going through the teams left to right.
I mean, you can just put everyone in could, because like it's really random right now, right?
But that wouldn't be entertaining though, would it?
No, exactly. Let's fuck some people and let's go. The 3D mix.
I feel like they haven't had a chance to prove themselves that often on LAN, and I wonder if this is like their best chance to prove themselves on LAN out of the majority of LAN events they've played previously.
I need to open the lineups because I'm getting confused.
That's all like Jocko, Maka.
I think they did great online, but I think even the stats say when they get on LAN, they're not that good.
I don't think they've. I'll have a look how many LAN events they've played. I don't think they've actually played that much on LAN. They've played a couple of ASL Challenger events, and then I think that's it.
I mean, I would probably put them in could. I like them.
Yeah, happy with that.
What do you think, MoDo?
For me, it's unlikely. I don't know.
Yeah, they've actually only played 1 LAN under 3D Max, and it was a last place. But they did have VP and Gamer Legion back to back.
Like for me, I would I put 9 pandas on Quad and 3D Max on
I would
unlikely.
put no chance in 9 pandas.
It's just because they won like the LAN tournament on how is it called? Like
it's different.
Oh yeah,
It's different, but
was it
they
the
The parry,
please?
parry,
like they're
please,
decent
yeah.
on LAN. That's why.
That's
So
true,
you
actually.
reckon 9 pandas above 3D max?
Yeah, for me. At least.
I back that actually.
Yeah?
Yeah,
I don't know.
okay.
That seems insane to me.
That's how I'd yeah, man. The parry please event was
Yeah,
pretty
seized, man.
nuts.
He's at it
Yeah.
again.
Yeah.
I still think it's unlikely.
Okay, okay.
So you guys,
Like, to-
are we bowing here, Modo? Are you happy?
No,
to pick
actually,
nine?
Unlikely, it's
okay,
okay.
actually, no. I'm actually with Moto here, and here's my for that. It's because of the seeding when they come in, they're gonna have a fucking good seeding, so they're gonna play like quote unquote the worst teams compared to 3D Max.
So am I switching these around then?
Yeah, I think so.
Done. There you go. We've got Amcal Esports next, which
Oh,
is
that's the
Travis,
Nickelback.
Forrester, Nickelback,
Yeah.
Crad,
Oh, they
Icy.
did a sick run. They had 3-0 in.
Mate, they were beat. They've been beating everyone recently.
Yeah, they beat Astralis also.
I
They have
mean,
good
like
form.
I hate that team because it's like they can play so good CS, and then the next day they can just like is their monitor turned on or what the fuck is going on? Like, you know what I mean? Like they can play so solid, and the next day they can play like absolute dog shit. I really hate that team, like in a way, because like they think they have a really fucking nice team. I don't know. I mean, in my opinion, they could.
Yeah, good for me also.
Get him in the good category. All right.
Done.
Yeah. They got that Icy kid as well. Some young kid.
Yes. From
Kazakhstan.
Kazakhstan,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, look, it's a veterans lineup. I mean, that core of Nickelback, Crad, and Forrester has been going together for.
The
Or I should say
Entropic days.
more. Yeah, more Crad, Forrester, those two together, and then even Travis was on
Nickelback
one
also.
win for a long time.
Yeah, Nickelback was on there for a bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Bet Boom next. Of course, that's the Nafni, Chiron, Siren, Zorti, Danists.
I mean,
Roster.
when you look at it like that, they probably should, right? But at the same time, I don't think they should. Let me just count here. One.
We need,
Okay, so I think they should put it in good category.
yeah, good for me also.
Even with a last place exit in Katowice.
I don't think you have to manage too much about that, or
Yeah.
to worry too much about it.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Eternal Fire.
They should, right? With the run they
They
have doing
should,
right
yeah,
now,
yeah.
they should do it.
Should.
Yeah, I agree
Yeah,
with
sure.
that. I think they should be at the major for sure.
I mean, with the just the current form and everything, I don't see a reason why they would not do it. Like they might not go 3-0, but they're gonna make it somehow.
Same
That-
for me. It's same for me.
X Thunderflash next. That's the Polish teams. I think have actually just been signed, like today or
Yeah, they
yesterday.
went to Enterprise.
Enterprise, yes.
Yeah, it's quite an interesting move for the organization, going from like the Czech Slovakian scene
yeah,
into
straight to
Polish.
Polish.
Oh, I didn't
I
see
mean,
that.
it's smart. They needed a roster, right? And there's a roster who just qualified for the RMR. Why not take the chance?
Yeah, but do you have faith in that roster? I mean,
I mean, it's better than no RMR. With no roster, they didn't have a
Yeah.
roster, right?
But
So,
one
I mean,
team
like,
need
why
to
not?
be on no chance, no?
Yeah, I mean, like I would definitely put them in no chance, like looking from outside perspective, right?
yeah,
enough.
I think they have zero chance at this RMR. Like
Yeah,
they
I
don't
was gonna
even
say, when we
they don't even have experienced players other than Tapchan. I don't think they really have anyone
They
that's
also
super
have the-
experienced.
No, they have that the friend. Friend.
But he has
He looks pretty good.
yeah.
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 I don't know.
I was
Don't
gonna
rate
say
them.
we say no chance because the teams we still got to go like in the list.
Yeah.
It gets progressively easier, I feel like, to categorize. Next up is Falcons. Obviously that's I say a new look. We saw them play recently. Boros, Snappy, Magisk, Madden, Sampius.
I mean, they're gonna do it. I think. What do you think, bro?
I think they should, but they don't have good results recently, but they should for sure.
Yeah, I agree. Also, when you put that much money into a project, you better do it.
Should again for FaZe, no doubt.
Face shirt, of course, no doubt. Fnatic.
Fnatic, I think, would.
Yeah, it's so funny with Fnatic because I feel like I like their roster, but I'm not convinced. You
Yeah,
understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I would put them in good category. Like they should do it. is top 8. Remember that. Plus there is the extra last chance.
Yeah.
They should do it.
Are we going could or should?
What do you think, guys?
I would almost say unlikely,
Unlikely.
to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
What?
thinking unlikely.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't
don't-
think Maddie's or QB's proved themselves on land
I was gonna
whatsoever.
say I don't rate the new team, to be honest with you.
For me, it's unlikely too. I think 9 pandas, some kind of, and bad boom.
Okay, this is the
look
first
better
time
to
you're gonna
me.
have a person walk out of your show. No. Oh, okay, but I mean, like, we can agree on that. I'm just gonna come back and say I was right, wrong.
Where are you putting them? This is your tier list, not
Awkward,
ours. So
awkward, I think.
you happy to go could?
I mean, yeah, it's fine.
Yeah.
So G2, no chance, right? No, it's
Should, of course.
No, I mean G2, they should, of course.
Yep, fair enough. Into the breach. I say the UK boys, not very UK anymore. It's just Thomas. But obviously we've got Rallen, Crucial, and Thomas part of the original core. BMAS, Masuta having joined them between Paris and now.
Do we know if they're gonna have to play with Thomas or not?
Oh, they're
Yeah,
playing.
they
with him.
are playing with
They're
them.
Yeah,
playing
yeah.
with him, Okay. I didn't know if there was some workaround where they could like put him as coach or something. I mean, because they're playing with Thomas, I would say unlikely. But I really like the rest of their roster. I think they could easily do it. I think they could do it, but because of their playing with Thomas, who did actually retired, or what was it he did?
He,
Like
he
benched
stepped
himself
back.
or something like that.
Yeah.
Right? That could be something, but it could also be like he stepped back, but actually grinding a lot and was ready to come back. I don't know. So yeah, but that is my opinion of it. I don't know about you guys.
Unlikely
mean-
for me.
Yeah, for me, Ryan, I'd say between unlikely and no chance. To be honest, their results have looked really rough for the last few months now.
Yeah, so for me, I'm happy putting them in unlikely. Like if this was my tier list, I would be putting them in unlikely. I remember they had one run. I think it was like CCT Online Finals 5. Where they
Nah,
actually-
4, I think.
Was
At
it
5,
4?
they bowed out pretty quickly.
I remember one of these events where they, look here, where they came fourth and actually had like a pretty deep run. Obviously, this event they weren't
Yeah.
playing with Thomas, if I'm not mistaken. They were playing.
No, I don't think.
Body?
Body, I think, still, yeah.
Yeah, it
But
was
how?
Body at
Yeah.
the
I don't know
time.
the results lately with Thomas on the team.
Oh,
Like,
it's
how
been
has
been
looking?
tough.
Here
It's
you go. Matches. Won over Sinners, lost to Ecstatic, beat Bleed, beat Big Academy, lost to Bleed. OT against Gucci Academy, lost to Guild Eagles. Took a map
lost
off
to
Nine
Witches and
Pandas.
Endpoint though.
Yeah, true. Yeah,
I mean, like,
nah.
yeah, it looks unlikely, right? We have to say that.
Unlikely,
agree.
yeah.
If we are looking at a standpoint where 8 teams need to go through, then it should be unlikely, right?
Yeah, I agree.
Fair enough.
I would even argue with you, ReTr00 saying that there is no chance they're going through. But let's just put them unlikely. It's fine.
Okay, fair enough. Koi next. We have Mopos, Davy G, Just, Adam S, Dodo.
Bro, I like them. I think they're feeling happy to play together, and they have nice system. I just, in my opinion, I put them on good because they're like a team. Maybe it's because Adam S is playing there and he's my ex teammate.
No chance.
Okay, unlikely. Unlikely.
We
at
need
least.
some people in the no chance category.
We need only one.
I think 2.
The one thing I would say as a caveat is those guys perform a lot better on land than they
Yeah,
do
they-
online.
Ellen,
Yeah.
go like that. If
I
into
would
the
agree
breach
with
is
you, actually.
unlikely,
Yeah,
Like-
it's unlikely.
Yeah,
like I think unlikely.
fair enough.
Navi,
Navi?
should.
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 Oh, done.
NIP could. I wouldn't put them as a should.
Good, yeah, good for me also.
Like if you look at it from outside, like if you take no recent results into consideration, then NIP should be a should team, right? Should be a should. But I think like when you take that into consideration, I think they move down to a could because they don't look solid right now.
Good. Happy days. 2 more to go for this one. Saw. That's obviously like the Portuguese boys. Aristos, Story, Ujerks, Roman, Muteris.
Yeah, I'm gonna say could here.
Really?
Yeah, I think they're good, and they're gonna surprise some people. They I can tell you the narrative right now. Well, what are their ranking right now? So
28.
28. That means they're gonna get like an opponent like NIP or something like that, right? Most likely.
Uh,
And they're gonna smash the living hell out of them for the first
Okay.
time because it's the best of one. And then they're gonna play someone a little bit better or same equally. And they're gonna beat. Yeah, they're gonna go through. That's
So-
my thing.
Ju-
I think they
just-
played really good CS.
Just to give you an idea as well, so obviously the core of these guys were 1 round away on at Antwerp Major at the
Yeah.
RMR to qualifying on Inferno when Stadodo like leg jam. They missed that and they got eliminated, and then they went 0-3 at the last 2 RMRs back to back.
Yeah, I wanted to say that. To be honest, they're insane online. They're insane. I think every team are afraid to play against them online, but on LAN, I don't think so. I would put them on unlikely just on LAN. But if RMR would be online, I put them on good.
what do we think,
My
Rejin?
honest
Are you budging or?
No, I'm not budging on this one. Saw is gonna be good. I will even put them as shoot. No, they're not shoot, but they could. They're 100% can. I think there's a very underplayed team. Like I think they're really good.
But for whatever reason, they haven't been playing a lot, and I wonder
I
if
think
that's
they're
because
just
they've
they're just waiting for the RMR to pop.
yeah, like not accepting events maybe.
Could be. And then VP should, right?
Yeah, shoot for sure.
But they're. And we're happy with this. What do you think?
We did a great job.
I mean,
think.
when you look at it like this, right? If we only look at it from a standpoint that 8 teams go through, then we have too many.
All right.
It's true.
Yeah.
But at the same time, there probably is more than 8 teams that at least should and
Yeah, but
could qualify.
They have.
You
how
have
many
11
spots is
teams because it's the 9th to 11th makes the decider bracket.
And how many goes through there?
1 out of 6. So 3 from each RMR go to the decider bracket, so 9, 10, and 11. And then only 1 team makes it to the major. So it's really cutthroat.
All right, so 17 teams in total, then, right?
Yeah.
Well, then we need to remove a team. Which one is it, MoDo?
I don't know. What do you think?
I mean, what's the next to 9 pandas? Who's that?
That's the
Oh,
Amcal, Travis,
Amcal.
Forrester, Nickelback.
Do we put them down?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think.
We move Amcal.
Done. Happy with that,
I-
gents.
Are we happy with that, boys?
Yep.
I think so.
Yeah, looks pretty
Alright.
good.
Time to do it all again for Group B. We'll move
Go.
across. This one I think is well we tried it a few days ago, Josh, and there's a lot of discussion I feel like for this one, just as much as there was in A. Again, it could likely no chance.
Yeah.
It's the
I-
teams in Group B.
I will say BTN and Sound were heavily underestimating Guild Eagles at the RMR. Like, literally heavily
Yeah,
underestimating
to be fair,
them.
I was on that. Like I remember backtracking.
Yeah.
It. So
I mean, if you look at it from an outside perspective, right, and just look at it as a team as an isolation, then they are like an unlikely one to go through, right? But somehow, every time we know it, there's RMR, they find their magic stick and they just hocus pocus and win, right? So
they're the flip side of the major circuit.
yeah,
They just
basically.
somehow always make it to the major.
yeah. So yeah, no Apex or what?
yes, Apex first.
I'm actually gonna go unlikely.
Ooh.
And the reasons, my reason for this, is I think they look incredibly shaky, and I don't feel like that's a team that performs great under pressure. And in my opinion, Apex are in a position, or I think the Apex roster is like, we need to go to the major. That's how I think they visualize it. And I think that can be a downside for them. So that's why I would put them in unlikely. They of course could go through them. I mean, they're not a bad team at all, right? And if Kakanuto has a good game and stuff like that, they can really take over, right, with Nog. So yeah. What do you think, MoDo?
Yeah, I think same. It's like between good and unlikely, but more to unlikely for me. Yeah, I agree.
Fair enough. Astralis next.
Good.
Good for sure.
They look
Cool.
so strong.
Cloud9.
Yeah, now they just
They
bombed out, right?
Good. To be honest.
Yeah, but like if you look at the paper, they should, right?
Yeah, on the paper they should.
Should. Okay. Ecstatic next.
We have to put them in unlikely, right? It's not the
Unlikely,
first time they've been in the RMR, and last time they were, I think they bombed out completely 0-3 and got absolutely demolished. If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
Could
that
be
was
2
when
majors ago.
Manx. I think Manx was there still when they were,
Yeah, I think so.
and Cabby was still there. But yeah,
but I think like they lack. They're not that old, so they haven't tried these high pressure situations before, right? That can be really detrimental to these teams. So that would be my reasoning.
Fair enough. Ents next.
I'll put
Good
them in.
for me.
I'll put could.
Could.
I mean,
Uh,
like, you could also say should, right? Because this fucking ends, right? I mean,
Yeah, they look
like,
amazing now.
yeah, they look really amazing. That's true. Yeah, probably we should put them in should. I just think like this Katowice is Polish. There's something more, you know. You always get the, but it's the same every time when you go to this wherever it is. The local teams are always playing better.
Yeah,
So yeah, that was my reasoning for putting them in could, but yeah, they probably should.
Fair enough. Gamer Legion next.
Could.
MoDo happy.
yeah, good, I think.
Fair enough. No arguments. Guild Eagles.
Good again. Like they had like not so good results on like online, but when RMR is coming, they popping off every time. What do you think, Ella?
1 second.
I think even for me, Ryan, like I personally, I think they should be in should, because I feel like no. Hang on. Listen to this, because if they don't qualify to the major, then everything just breaks apart. Like everything just falls, because that is like what the whole team is surrounded. Their online results have been poor for a long time, but they show their best Counter-Strike at the RMR, and I think they've proved it by upsetting some like unbelievable teams. Like they've beaten FaZe, they've like, you know, beaten some proper top 5 teams in the world. Like if they're not qualifying to the major, then I don't know how much tenure there is in the team.
Okay, I'm gonna turn this on its head real quick, Josh, and I'm gonna say, right, like, you go through the list. Realistically, Vitality are gonna go in should, Spirit are gonna go in should, right? You know, like Monty Heroic in well, at least like namesake.
Yeah,
You're gonna have like a good 7, 8, 9 teams at the top.
Yeah.
Guild Eagles should not be beaten, and by the logic of top 8 go through, bottom 8 into the decider. I think Guild Eagles. In fact, I would be putting them in unlikely, and I wouldn't have.
Oh, no, that's chalked, mate. Yeah, no.
I actually would say unlikely as well.
Really?
Yeah.
I know. I just said it. I'm saying against myself, but the reasoning is like you cannot, just because they're doing great at the RMR. They've been doing great at the RMR 2 times, right? As far as I remember.
Yeah,
no, I think it's 3, right? Because it's Blast, Rio, and then Antwerp. So it could be 4 actually. Let me have a quick look. Like when we say doing great, we mean like smashing teams.
No, but not even doing great. Just say they made it to the major, right?
So they did Paris, they did Rio, they did Antwerp. So 3 in a row.
Correct.
And I mean that they have for them, but I just cannot stop looking at the recent results, right?
Yeah, it's a good point.
But I mean, they can also just come into this tournament. Now we're back, boys. Let's go. And then it's like, okay. Then they're gonna go through again and see Vitality not going in at all, or something like that happened, right?
Yeah, I think since the Paris Major, which is coming up to basically a year from now, things have looked really rough for them for
and I think
a
that's
long time.
Something they have against them is that they were not this 2 major cycle in a year where they actually missed a major this year.
Yeah, true.
So I mean, like they didn't do anything the whole year. So when they come to RMR, like don't get me wrong, of course it is something, right? But they didn't go to any LAN events, didn't do anything. They've been waiting for so long since the major basically to come back to a LAN, and the first LAN they're gonna go to is the RMR.
Yeah.
As far as I am.
Yeah, they haven't played a LAN since the major.
There we go. Fair enough. Heroic next.
Good.
Good.
Okay, good.
Monty as well.
Yeah.
Cool.
They
We're
look
probably gonna
really
move
good.
them after. But let's see. Mouse, they should know. With the way they've been playing, they should. What do you think, MoDo?
I think I will put. I don't know why I put Heroic on should and Mouse on could.
You put Heroic over Mouse?
Yeah.
Are you drunk?
No, I'm not.
Bro.
They're playing good.
But Mouse is also playing good. Like name it, like if you take Mouse's last tournaments and then take what are they called?
Heroic.
Who are we talking about? Heroic, yeah. And who's done better?
Let me see. Okay,
I mean, definitely
maybe put
Mouse. Yeah.
yeah, Mouse.
I mean, they three,
Yeah,
three,
yeah,
three to
you're
four.
right.
I mean,
You're
it's
right,
they
actually.
Mouse should go there with the way
Yeah,
they've been playing. They should go there.
Yeah, you're right.
Nexus.
Yeah, they should for sure.
I mean,
like on paper, I think no chance, but I would like to put them like unlikely.
I think no chance, but it's because of the experience that the teams are gonna have when they go into the LAN. But
Yeah.
I'm okay with putting them unlikely because I actually really like the lineup.
Mm-hmm.
I really like the lineup. I was actually in talks with them before I joined TSM as a coach.
Are you going unlikely or no chance?
Unlikely, no.
Unlikely.
All right.
There's
There we
certainly
go.
some favoritism going on
Yeah.
here. But anyway, we'll let it pass.
We'll let it through for now. OG.
Unlikely.
Fair enough. I think that's pretty
Oh,
straightforward.
the
as well.
online demons. Here we come.
But I think like OG is like they could definitely go through, but I think it depends so much on the matchup they're gonna have, and how the younger players are gonna deal with it, right?
No, one thing I actually want to ask Rejin is like you were saying like really early on in the show, like you've come to this team, you want to win, you want to like go as far as you can. Do you really think OG is trying to do that? Because it's like every time I feel like we see a roster change or we see what their lineup is, it's just mid. Like it never looks threatening enough to start like being a threat of the tier 1 atmosphere. I don't know. That's just the way that I look at OG.
But I think that comes down to age also, right? Like sometimes you're playing not to lose, right? And when you start doing that, you're losing oftentimes, right? You need to play to win, and I think that's something you have to learn as a player, especially in the younger players, right? But I mean, they definitely could go through. Not that I'm saying that at all, but I just have to look at it like we need 8 teams to go through here. Then I cannot put OG over any of the other teams there, right? I simply cannot do it.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
What do you think,
Yeah.
MoDo?
Yeah, I think the same.
Nice.
Alright.
Para.
Pera. No chance.
No chance. Yeah.
No chance.
Fair enough.
Prissy.
Hey.
So here's the thing. They have to pray. They have to pray. He never missed a major. I mean, they should know. No,
They
they're
should?
not. Of course they're not. But I mean, for the history and everything, it would be fun to see Dupree go through and everything. I would love that, right?
I would possibly be on the bandwagon of Kud if Nikodos was still there. I think if he was still on that roster,
Yeah.
going to the RMR, I would have said they probably should. But I think losing him, I don't know. I feel like it is
agree on that one,
unlikely.
I agree. It's unlikely for sure.
Unlikely. Fair enough. Done. 2 more
Dude.
teams that I feel
Good.
like there's going to be
Yeah.
little discussion about.
I mean, I think Spirit, like, they're looking pretty good. They have this new kid. I don't know if you know him, like Donk.
Yeah.
He's pretty good.
Yeah.
And yeah. So I think this is fine. I don't think I would change much here, actually.
Yeah. Same for me.
I mean, the only thing where you can argue is like the guilds and then OG and Apex, I would say. Like those 3 are like they could do it, but I just like in the recent form and everything, I have to put the other teams higher.
Yeah.
What do you think, MoDo? Are you agreeing?
Yeah, I agree.
Fair enough. Done deal. RMR A and B done.
They're not too troll. Pretty on the money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of troll, I know it says QnA session, but our first question to you is going to be making your dream team. We have a few rules, so just to make sure everyone fights fair, and that is that you are not allowed to use any tier 1 players. And by tier 1, I think everyone knows, you can't go picking all the goats and putting them in one team. So your job is to pick yourself and 4 people, or pick 5 other people. That it doesn't have to include you, and it's your dream team. And then at the end of it, Josh, maybe me and you will have a little argument and say whose team
It should
wins.
be a tier 2 roster that's winning titles every week. That's what we're looking for.
I mean, do we classify Donk as a tier 1 player
Oh
already?
yeah, he's
or...
tier 1. He's tier 1.
yeah, he is.
Yeah.
Alright, okay.
Look at the young man. He's unreal.
So, who wants to start?
I can start if you want.
Yes, go on. Who's your first player in your dream team?
MoDo.
Okay. Tactical.
That guy.
Now he can't pick himself, so next
Yeah.
person.
Is it me again?
Yeah, you keep going. You pick all 5.
Then we're gonna go with Anna.
Okay.
All right, we're gonna get a team of AWPers there.
With
I
only one.
think
N.
it's one in, yeah.
Oh yeah, of course. Okay.
Oh, me again. Sorry.
Yeah, you keep going.
Then we take Tori.
Okay.
And 23.
Oh, so.
Okay.
Yeah, I know which way this is going.
Yeah.
And then Cat. But then we need a surgery for MoDo. And then there's gonna be a lot of trophies coming here.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, to be
That's-
fair, we did say title winning team, Josh.
This will win titles. I can guarantee you. ESL Impact, no chance.
Not on male for sure, but on
We
female.
need to get a scissor though for MoDo.
Oh my god, what a
But that's all.
troller.
Okay. MoDo, now it's your time. If you wanna, I'll let you choose yourself because I don't think it's ever happened before, Josh, where we've like had the person pick the other person. So you can put yourself
Yeah,
in
yeah,
your team
that's
if
alright.
you want.
Okay, put me.
Okay.
Then
Don't make this another full Romanian lineup, because mate, that's
bro,
just
I
not
wanted to I wanted to make
That's not winning titles.
Okay. Let's see.
You
You can do it, you can do it if you want.
And put the MoDo in.
Yeah.
Put Laonix.
Okay.
Okay, okay. I'm gonna guess your next player then, MoDo.
Do it.
You're gonna have Sound.
No.
What?
Volt.
Walt? Oh yeah, he's Romanian.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
is like fake flagging right there. I don't know
Yeah,
how
that
he
is so
classifies that
fake.
as Romanian.
Does he speak Romanian?
I guess.
Oh,
Yeah,
it probably
he speak-
does, yeah.
He does.
Fair enough.
This is
Um,
English as they come, though.
But then you want Cello, no?
Two AWPers on the same team? One on B,
Two
one on
AWPers?
A? Yeah.
I mean, if you don't want Sound,
No, put Cello actually.
Zellos are going in.
All right.
And BTN.
Oh my god, this is gonna win the major.
He's gonna win every CCT.
Oh, okay.
So if the money can only be afforded for one AWP in a round, who's getting it? Is it you or Zello?
Who knows? We have to discuss it.
It's like a coin flip. Someone flips a coin, heads or tails. Oh, yes.
It's Voltor!
Fair enough. Done. There we go. So it's Nigma Galaxy plus MoDo, and then MoDo plus Countryman.
Yeah, plus everyone from the region.
I think it's solid lineups to be honest.
Yeah.
I think mine would be. I think mine would be more expensive than yours. So, maybe not actually. Now, which one of the lineups would be more expensive?
Wow.
Well,
It's like, I think-
considering the contracts are ending for Nigma Galaxy in 9 days,
I
I would
think this-
imagine the Nigma Galaxy the girls will be cheaper.
Yeah, and the surgery is
Call
pretty
it the girls
expensive.
cheap.
Well, no, because the
Oh,
contracts are
someone
ending.
clipped that. Someone clipped that and just made like that. That'd be the perfect.
There we
Right,
go.
what we got next? The
I
questions?
don't know, yeah.
Yeah, it's
Welcome,
all...
everyone. Yeah. So we always like to ask, I guess this is going to be quite a cool one because we have a coach and a player joining us.
Hmm.
Your individual perspectives on Tier 2 Counter-Strike. I mentioned, obviously, to BTN and Sound last episode that last year, I guess we were talking about it as well before we went live, is like we had a lot of CCTs and a lot of tournaments, a lot of different tournaments. And this year, it's kind of fallen off a little bit. What was it like playing, and what is it now, I guess, in comparison? What was it like playing last year and this year, like in the Tier 2 space?
Like, it's tough to be honest. Like, I enjoyed play like 2 games per day. To be honest, I just remember we woke up at 10, play early game at 11, then at 2, and then at 8. Just like it was insane. But now it's like a bit quiet on Hustle TV. Yeah, I would like go back to 1 year ago to play some tournaments.
Fair enough.
I prefer the 1 day game. That's fine for me.
I prefer 3 to be honest.
Get them all over and done with.
Yeah, but it's like more like if you have 3 games in a day with the preparation and everything, right? It suddenly drags out a lot. You're mixing up things, stuff like that. So I like to have less games and then be able to prepare for the opponents and everything. That's also what I'm trying to teach MoDo here, but you know, he's Romanian, so.
The grind, yeah.
Yeah, I want to ask actually, Regin. You mentioned Endpoint a little bit earlier on today. That coaching Endpoint at ESL Pro League was the last LAN that you coached at. So are you hungry to get to your team to a LAN like fairly soon, just to be able to get everyone together and to kind of show what the practice has been made of, basically?
Yeah, I mean, like, it's always nice to be LAN, but that's why we play. I would say like we play for like that, at least how it should be, right? You're playing to be in the big stages, and you're playing to go to the group stage, everything like go to LAN tournaments. That's where all the fun happens, right? It's where dreams are made or crushed, right? And I think that's what we're all playing for in the end. So yeah, definitely, right? I mean, right now, like I said earlier, also that we are in this rebuilding stage with TSM, right? And we also know that we're not probably gonna be in anything like our main goal right now is of course Shanghai Major, right? Which is our main goal, but it's like a pretty far out, right? We didn't even have the first major done yet, right? So our next goal should be like the ESL Challenger to go to Pro League, right? That if we can manage that, I think we're on a good trajectory at least, right? So yeah, I mean, like it's of course LAN is nice. This is where you want to go to, right? We live for this, right? So.
I think your next chance, obviously, you got ECL, and then obviously, I suppose open qualifiers maybe for the next few months.
I can look on a calendar and I can tell you. There's Eliza qualifying the weekend.
Oh yeah, the open quals, they start soon, don't they?
Then we have EPL this week, finishing up.
Yep.
And then Challenger starts 26. Then there's some Dallas open qualifier. I have a LAN with my old boys from 1.6. Yeah, so yeah, I mean it's not that full, but I think it's fine because when you have this new roster, you want to go into a lot of practice stuff. That you don't want too many officials. We have also RCL League we're playing. I don't know
Never
if
heard of that. RCL?
Yeah, I don't know if it's gonna be on HLTV.
Oh, do you know? Yeah, I was gonna say I actually have. I think we've seen them once before on Wikipedia, but I don't think they come on HLTV. Maybe the late stage.
Astralis Talent, Nemiga, Permita Alliance, Nexus, Mouse NXT, Godsend, Arcred, TSM, Space, External, yeah.
Fair enough.
And then they're gonna invite some people, I think, for the final thing. I think.
Yeah, the
but
playoff bit.
Sure.
Yeah, sounds about right. One question we do like to ask the boys quite often is this is probably more for MoDo, but maybe you as well, Regin. Who's the best player that you've played with and the best player you've played against, obviously in Tier 2? Whether this is a scrim, whether this is a face at pug, whether this is actually an official, who's some online demon that's just too cracked, man, and just
play with him in the team?
In a team, yeah. So it can be the team you're on now or previous teams.
I just want to pick Joel.
I think Joel's a safe pick. Yeah.
And what was the other question?
Yeah, best player that you've played against in Tier 2.
Oh, I have a lot of games. Let me think.
And maybe for you, Regin, just from like a coach role, maybe. Like, is there anyone that you've seen?
I thought you when I was playing, like let's go way.
Yeah, but that's the shit CS, isn't it? So.
What do you mean? I used to play in C play and stuff like that. Oh, the best Tier 2 player.
Maybe I'll pick Nicolas when he was in Prezi.
In Prezi, like the Copenhagen Flames form that he was in.
I mean, he should be a Tier 1 player. Most he was a
yeah.
Player, right?
Yeah, we classify that on the edge.
But I'm gonna agree with Joel. Best Tier 2 player. Or actually, well, you were saying ever, so that means also my time at Endpoint, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Then I have to say Nerds.
Yeah, Nerds on Endpoint.
He was insane and such a joy to work with. Him and Heavy God, both of them. Well, actually, also Joel. I actually might even think that Joel might be even better. Like his understanding of CS is like he might be good at aiming and stuff like that, but his understanding of CS is really fucking high.
Yeah.
Like that's something where I was really surprised with. Wouldn't you agree, Moto?
Yeah, I agree.
So I might even retract it and say probably Joel is the.
Do you think you're surprised that, like, over the last little while that he hasn't had offers from Tier 1 or at least joined Tier 1 teams, considering like even some of his previous lineups just literally farming and being one of the best riflers that Tier 2's seen in quite some time?
No, but I think that's because of the controversy, right?
Sure. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think it's simple as that.
Yeah.
And
Could
he
well be.
needs to gain back the trust, right? And this
Mm.
like if anyone knows it, I did. I was banned for the coach bug and everything, right? You fuck up, you have to live with the consequences, and you have to just grind your way back, right? But if he keeps up the numbers like this in 1 year, people are gonna forget about it, and they're gonna be like, "Oh, Joel is a new donkey donk," right? All the way around, right? So yeah, he just needs to be humble and keep grinding.
Fair
Yeah.
enough.
You got anything, Ryan?
Yeah, I was going to ask. I want to. We always ask this as well to our guests. I think it's going to be interesting as well to hear from you, Rejin. Is what does your warm-up routine look like before a game? So I guess MoDo, is there anything particularly that you do in game, like your aimbots and your DM and whatever? And Rejin, like how is your day structured? Let's say like before an official, like how do you structure your time in your day?
Like my schedule, I just wake up 2 hours before game. Like we mainly play early. So
Why is that, Moto?
because like we're playing early because Ellen tries to get the games early because the teams are bad early because we are gamers and
Smart.
we are not working in the morning.
So all of the UK teams that are asking for the later slots are just also getting on the early slots with you guys.
Yeah, probably.
Unlucky. You have to play your edge, no?
Yeah, so a bit of anti-strat, maybe 30 minutes, 1 hour, and then 1 hour of complete warm-up. DM, surf, KZ, and that's all.
Don't
Bots.
forget the 3-on-3.
3-on-3 on canals, we're really good on that. We play on offline server.
Have a bit of fun. Do you ever get the no clip on?
And it's not fun.
No.
It's
not,
to
no,
win,
it's
bro.
not fun. It's try hard.
It's
Fuck.
full try hard. And this morning, first round, I clutched 1-on-3. Am I right, Moto?
Yeah, and you tilt Zyphon and GG.
Fully till Siphon.
Rejin, if you could give us some insight, like how maybe you do your prep the night before or whatever for a
Yeah,
team.
I mean, normally I like to do a pretty deep prep. But right now we're in a rebuilding phase. We have to focus on our own game and stuff like that. So there's not really any point to go into deep dive into prep, where we have a lot of focus points already. If you start to bring more, it's gonna be confusing for people, right? But normally, yes, like MoDo knows also before we had the full lineup where they were played together, right? The prep was a bit more extensive, right? But I actually also like to just prep with the players, like before the game, and ask like if someone needs some help or whatever it must be. We look over the game, stuff like that too. Because oftentimes when you're doing prep as a coach, you see something and you get an idea, this would be good to do. Then you show that to the player, and the player's like, oh, that's a bad angle, or I don't like that, or whatever it might be. So you kind of waste your time a little bit. So I think it's different from team to team, I would say. Right now, we're not doing heavy prep at all, simply because we have a lot of other things to focus on, right? And you don't want to confuse players right now. Like, just imagine we have to play 6 maps, right? We played for 5 days, right? Like, they have to remember tactics, lineups, nades, and if a stupid coach then come in, oh, if you see this, right? It's gonna fuck up, right? And it's not really worth it. So right now we're just keeping it cool and just play our own game. We just call it the Joel game. It's pretty easy, actually.
Yeah. I want to know what rating are we expecting Joel to get to by the summer break on an average? Because he's at like 1.62, I think, on HLTV. What do you think it's going to be from now till the summer break?
I mean, if we stop playing, it's gonna be 162, right?
Yeah.
So how much you want? So how much you want to bet here? No. I mean, like I actually looked at the rating. Like I don't care that much about rating, but of course, like indicator, right, and stuff how people are doing. And I was just looking at yesterday. I think it was. I think he had like 154 or something yesterday. And I was just like, this mental. Like he's not gonna be able to keep this up. And then today he just goes in and blows it out completely, and even increases his rating. Right? It's like, what the fuck? I mean, like, hopefully you see a 2.0 rating by someone, right? But that's gonna be really, really hard, right? I think realistically, 123, 128. I would say realistically.
He'll be
That's
farming the
definitely-
whole way.
I mean, I hope it's higher. Don't get me wrong, but I mean, realistically, I think that's where we have to put it. There's not many people who can put up those performances all the time, right?
Fair enough. You got anything else, Josh?
No, not really. Hopefully we'll see you guys back here again for the next RMR circuit, and hopefully with a little bit more of a positive landscape than getting knocked out in like the round of what, 32, first round of HLTV.
Then we can put you in the no chance. Yeah.
Yeah.
No chance. No, I mean, like, I think actually, when all considered, right, I think right now it sucks to not be at the RMR, it sucks to not be able to go to the major, but at the same time, you have to look at it from a new beginning, right, a new fresh start. I hope MoDo does that as well, right, and the whole team does it, which is also why we did a good and big cleansing of the team, right, like, we're only 2 players left from the original roster, and right now we just have to calm down and actually build up something that where I didn't say this, but like I'm trying to, I really try to give Velde, like, because it's actually a longer story. Do you have time for this?
Yeah.
Go for it, man.
All right. So when you have to think like this, when Remy built the roster, right, it was kind of Remy's project. When I say Remy, is XTQ, right? And it never really was Velde's roster. Like, he was the in-game leader, but it was not him who picked the players and how he wants to play, how to utilize the player, right? So when I come in, I saw this dysfunctional team, right? And no synergy. There was wrong, like, different ways of looking at things, right? So I actually made Velde like, what do you want to do? Like, take ownership of the project, take ownership of the team, and simply tell me which players he would like to have, how he wants to play, what he's looking for, etc., right? So we're building up this roster around Velde, what he wants, and how he can lead the team best way. And this, I think, is very important as an in-game leader to have these tools available. So you don't get forced into a box where a coach come and tell you this is what you have to work with, right? You want to give your in-game leader and your players the best way possible of succeeding, right? And I don't believe you're gonna get that by if I say I'm gonna get some players, or if I'm gonna stand tall that I want to keep interest or whatever, right? I don't think it's gonna be a positive outcome of that. So right now we're in a rebuilding phase, and the mood is good. Now we're testing out Quetch, right? If he's gonna be a long-term solution, at least for now, we're gonna play with him for the next foreseeable future at least, and then we see how it goes. But I would say, with all things considered, I think we're back on track, and we're gonna show some good CS lately, and coming.
Fair enough. Thank you very much, Rejin and MoDo, for joining us. Their socials will be down in the Twitch, in the YouTube video. You can follow them there, and check out TSM on their road to the Shanghai Major. Thank you very much, guys. We appreciate you for coming on, and thanks for taking your time to be here.
Thanks,
Thank you
brothers.
for invite.
All right, we'll see you soon. Bye bye.
Bye
Enjoy.
bye.